in the 7th week of this season. It comes from Goodison Park, where Everton are taking on Manchester City. At the break, it's all square. Doesn't clear particularly well. Straight back to Riyad Mahrez. Oh, Gundogan's missed a sitter. From a yard out, open goal, and Gundogan's hit the bar.
How has he missed that?
Out left to Raheem Sterling in the penalty area, drops the shoulder, beats two. On the end line now, low ball in, away. 2 yards from goal from Yerry Mina, though no real pressure. Full-back area temporarily, crossed by De Bruyne into Jesus. Jesus heads home. More Premier League goals against Everton than against any other club. That's why he's in the side today, as Everton come back down the other end. Sigurdsson's effort is saved by the goalkeeper. Kevin De Bruyne finds Raheem Sterling. 4 in the attack for City. Crossfield to Mahrez. Riyad Mahrez shoots on target, but it's saved by Pickford. Cleared away as far as Iwobi. Iwobi in the area. Seamus Coleman chips the goalkeeper, and Calvert-Lewin has scored. We're being told here that it may well have gone as a Seamus Coleman goal. It's Coleman who chips the goalkeeper. It's Calvert-Lewin who dives in, and I think that is the striker's goal.
I think we're going to give it to Calvert-Lewin.
Take that, Premier League. We're right, you're wrong. It's 1-1. Stick that in your VAR and smoke it. And it has now changed officially, I can tell you. It has gone as a Dominic Calvert-Lewin goal. The Premier League officially changed it, which means Calvert-Lewin has scored in back-to-back Premier League appearances for the first time in his career. Back-to-back league games for the first time since October 2015. Loads of great statistics on that, and he certainly had a very good first half for Everton. Let's talk about Everton first. Chris Perry alongside me for this game. They went behind. We mentioned in commentary they have a great record when it comes to coming from behind in games, but they certainly improved after Man City's opener.
Yeah, I mean, they showed good resolve in coming back into the game. They started to go a little bit more direct. They showed more energy. When they've played the ball into Calvert-Lewin, it's been a good platform for them to attack. Richarlison suddenly came into the game down the right-hand side of the pitch a little bit more. Iwobi has been drifting in and out of the game, as you kind of expect with Alex Iwobi. You know, he needs the ball to be effective, but they showed more energy, and they deservedly got back on level terms. I think they created a couple of half chances. I mean, the shot that from Sigurdsson that Ederson saved before the goal, that no one was really there to tap in, but I think it was coming. The goal's been coming. It was a mistake from Fernandinho, but credit to them. They didn't let their heads drop. They've stuck in there. They've had to defend at times a little bit last ditch, but I mean, you always do against Manchester City.
On Manchester City, they took the lead through Gabriel Jesus' header, but once again it was a sumptuous ball in from Kevin De Bruyne, who he is just one of those players. You know, we talk about squad rotation, we talk about quality of teams. Sometimes there are players who just don't get dropped, and Kevin De Bruyne, you know, dropped against Norwich and they don't win the game. You can't afford to not have him on the field.
Well, it was. We were talking about David Silva in that respect probably 2-3 years ago. Over the last couple of years, David Silva now obviously leaving at the end of the season. De Bruyne is that man now, isn't he? You know, he's the main man. He's the one that makes them tick, attacking wise, and his deliveries into the box are absolutely brilliant, aren't they? They're just always in the right area. They're always asking for someone just to get one touch on it and you score. How many one-touch finishes do you see Manchester City score compared to most other teams? I mean, he is an absolute world-class player, and he's only going to get better, I think, in the next couple of years. If he stays fit this season, he's going to get better and better.
Goal was scored by Gabriel Jesus, who's found the net 22 times in his last 21 starts for club and country, including in each of his last 6 starts for Manchester City. Chris, second half forthcoming. How will it unfold? How do you see the next 45 minutes?
I think City will look to try and regain control of the ball, regain possession, try and pin Everton back. Everton, I think, have got to see out the first 10-15 minutes of the second half a little bit like they started the game, where I can see them maybe sitting off a little bit and trying to be compact, and then if they can keep it at 1-1 until then I can see them maybe starting to hit a few long balls again to Calvert-Lewin, seeing if they can get people up in support of him and see if they can go on and win the game.
Chris Perry for the moment, thank you very much indeed. Elsewhere today, Liverpool kept up their 100% start to this campaign. 7 played, 21 points, though they were somewhat fortunate to beat Sheffield United in the early game of the day at Bramall Lane. Wijnaldum's 70th minute strike agonisingly slipping through the legs of goalkeeper Dean Henderson, doing his impression of Massimo Taibi from all those years ago. Let's hear from the two managers involved in the early kick-off today, Chris Wilder of Sheffield United and Jurgen Klopp of Liverpool.
We feel their big chances have happened because of our mistakes, and whether our big chances were their mistakes, we need to take them. And yet again, both ends of the pitch have cost us. Dean's, not made a routine save, and he absolutely I crack up when ex-players say, well, you shouldn't chuck your players under the bus. Well, it's difficult to hide when you're playing worldwide football in the Premier League.
You have to be ready to win a game like this. That's football. That means you defend well and you do attack well. We had chances. We didn't have 10 chances today, but we had, I would say, we scored a goal and we had another 3, maybe not no-brainers, but close to. I would say most of our scores with that situation. Usually in a situation in the first half when all of our 3 passed the ball to the next one at the end, I think all 3 could have scored, but we didn't. That we had this situation, and that's how football is in these moments. How I said, winning on a kind of rather average day there's no alternative to it. Usually it can happen, especially after such a long time,
that your goalkeeper should make a save, and Leon Clark should score, John Fleck should score, John Lundstrom should score, and we've had another couple of opportunities.
But we were ready to fight, and that's good football. But I know what you mean. It's about, you have to be ready to play your best football. If that's not working out, then you still have to fight for the result, and that's what we did tonight.
Liverpool have won their first 7 games of a league season for only the second time in their history, the last time being back in 1990. Elsewhere today in the Premier League, it finished Aston Villa 2, Burnley 2. Villa having 1 goal chalked off through VAR for a very tight offside. Bournemouth West Ham also finished 2-2. Those two teams, every time they face each other, they serve up a tremendous game of football. Was it 3-3 last year? 2-2 this. Chelsea beating Brighton by 2-0. Same scoreline at Selhurst Park between Crystal Palace and Norwich. 10-man Tottenham beat Southampton by 2-1, and Wolverhampton Wanderers beat Watford by 2-0. The Hornets bottom of the table after 7 games, 5 defeats, just 2 points, only 4 goals scored and 20 conceded. Troubling times for Quique Sanchez Flores. Back here, it's 1-1 between Everton and Manchester City. The second half comes up next. You're listening to Premier League Live.
As we look down from the cradle of our hot air balloon, we wonder as a svelte ocean of stampeding gazelles gallop majestically earthbound towards a waterhole.
Somebody say a waterhole. Lovely. Mine's a pint. The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast, Monday morning from 6 o'clock.
Your natural selection for the big game, bodacious banter and hookers. The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast, Monday morning from 6 on Talk Sport. Masters of Drive Time Radio, Adrian Durham and Darren Goff.
Drive, she said. I'll tell you when to stop.
Big names and big comments from the best in the business.
Sharing everything need to step up the performances. I still think United will finish in the top 4.
Scattered on Sports Talk and explosive opinion. James Carey.
I'm talking to Gary Neville and Adrian Durham. 5 years ago, I wouldn't have known who to punch first.
Adrian Durham and Darren Goff.
I love the smell of football in the afternoon.
Weekday afternoons from 4.
Butter me buns.
On Talk Sport.
Hello, Jim White here. Sorry, I've just nipped into the dentist for a quick checkup. What's that? Open wide? All right. Well, never mind that. Polish up your radio tomorrow morning from 10 when I'll be extracting the biggest names in football and filling your morning with the biggest and best stories I can get my teeth into.
Jim White, weekday mornings from 10 on Talk Sport.
Can I rinse out now? Oh, sorry, I missed the thing there.
The Sports Bar with Andy Goldstein and Jason Cundy on Talk Sport.
Join the cutthroat posse in the Last Chance Saloon of sporting prowess.
Come and Navajo if you think you're hard enough.
They'll be rustling up tomorrow's back pages as they send you crashing headfirst along the bar of sport.
It's the good, the bad, and the Cundy.
Get off your horse and drink your milk.
On the Sports Bar, weeknights from 10 on Talk Sport.
The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast, Monday morning from 6 o'clock on TalkSport. The cornerstone of any nutritious sports breakfast.
A morning delivery of big names and essential game talk, discreetly wrapped and violently lobbed over the fence onto your radio. The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast.
100% pure Scotch beef.
Monday morning from 6 on TalkSport.
Driving home with Darren Goff and Durham, a sporting legend and an angry sports journalist who'll pick a fight with anyone.
Just really winds me up. Absolutely unbelievable.
To say I'm angry is an understatement.
Adrian Durham, what an absolute clown.
Dynamic, double strength drive time radio.
Shall I stay?
I don't like listening to him. I'll turn off.
Do you want me to stay?
Adrian Durham and Darren Goff.
He's an idiot.
Right, who hands up? Who wants me to stay?
Drive time radio.
I don't have to.
Weekdays from 4 only on TalkSport.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Everton up against Manchester City from Goodison Park, 1-1 at the break. I'm your host Tom Rennie. Alongside me is the former Tottenham, Southampton and Charlton defender Chris Perry. This is Premier League Live. Everton looking to respond after back-to-back defeats in this competition, though of course they did win in the Carabao Cup in midweek. Manchester City 8-0 victors over Watford last week. A comfortable victory for them in the Carabao Cup in midweek as well against Preston North End, though they are at the moment struggling against a Toffee side who certainly improved at the back end of that opening 45. Players now are just emerging from the tunnel. I'll run through the two teams for you, starting with Everton. Jordan Pickford in goal, back four left to right of Luca Digne, Yerry Mina, Michael Keane and Seamus Coleman the captain. Morgan Schneiderlin, Fabian Delph in the centre midfield with Gylfi Sigurdsson just in front of that pairing. Richarlison left, Iwobi on the right with Dominic Calvert-Lewin through the centre. Theo Walcott early substitution for Everton with what looked like potentially concussion. We don't have any details for you on that at the moment. If we get them, we will give them to you. Lursel, Holgate, Tosin, Sidibe, Davis and Moise Keane, the subs for the Toffees. Ederson in goal for Manchester City. Back four, Alexander Zinchenko, Fernandinho, Nicolas Otamendi and Kyle Walker. Rodrigo in the centre midfield. He has been booked, so look out for those tactical fouls in the second half. Kevin De Bruyne and Gundogan alongside. Gabriel Jesus, the goal scorer through the centre. Riyad Mahrez and Raheem Sterling on the wings. On the bench it's Bravo, Aguero, Silva B, Silva D, also Mendy, Cancelo and Foden. Michael Oliver is our referee and Andre Mariner is our VAR in Stockley Park. Long talking to for Gylfi Sigurdsson here from Marco Silva. So long, we kicked off. He's only just running on the field, Gylfi Sigurdsson. What was that about?
That was a funny one, wasn't it? To be relaying your messages so late to him. He's obviously forgotten to speak to him at half time.
He's just had 15 minutes.
Or you wonder whether he's been in the physio room maybe and hasn't been in the changing room when Marco Silva's been given his talk. So it'll be interesting just to keep an eye on Sigurdsson to see whether he's picked up an injury or anything.
We are back underway. Manchester City right to left as we look in this second half, wearing their disgusting tequila sunrise strip, a Volt fluorescent yellow at the top which fades into a dusky salmon, and then the socks are also fluorescent inexplicably as well, with black numbering and lettering on the strip. Everton, they kick from left to right in this second half, as they like to do towards the Gladys Street end. Royal blue shirts with white shorts and white socks. Paul is back with Ederson, who's wearing shocking pink and isn't actually wearing the most shocking kit out there today, which is maybe good for him. Paul is with Raheem Sterling on the halfway line. Looks to run in field up against Seamus Coleman. Just hear a slight murmuring around Goodison Park, fans just making their way back to their seats. Here's a lovely old-fashioned ground, Goodison Park, so few remaining in the top flight. Of course they are looking to move away from this ground in the coming few years. Will be a real loss to Premier League football when they finally leave Goodison, as City come forward here with Sterling. Found a square pass to Gundogan, who released his shot, maybe a bit delayed, and there was a block on it from the Everton defence, who clear.
Just a little bit slow to get his shot off there. Gundogan allowed Yerry Mina to get the block.
Ball out with Kyle Walker, again coming narrow from that right back area into the centre circle. Behind him is Otamendi, out right to Kevin De Bruyne. Mahrez looking for a free kick off Digne and getting the free kick, going to ground Well, easily, but I suppose that kind of thing is a free kick. The pressure from the full-back in the back. Forward by Fernandinho. Went to Gundogan. Looks to pick out the run of Gabriel Jesus. Overhit from the German international midfielder. And it's through to Jordan Pickford in goal.
It was a good opportunity for Gundogan, wasn't it? Sterling cutting in from the left-hand side again. Just sets it back towards that penalty spot. His first touch was brilliant to open it out onto his right foot. Looking to bend it into the far corner. Just delayed his shot a little bit, and Yerry Mina came across and made another block. He's made a few blocks today, Yerry Mina. He's been quite impressive.
Interesting to see how Everton cope defensively in this game under Marco Silva. That is something that has improved. They're averaging before this one the fewest amount of shots faced by any Premier League side, so they are very good at stopping the flow of chances.
They'd kept 6 clean sheets in their previous 8 home games, haven't they? So, I mean, they're obviously keeping clean sheets. They're tough to beat defensively. You can see from the work ethic and the way they're organised that they're a good side.
Gaps here, though, for City to exploit as Mahrez finds Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne in the area.
Should have gone down.
Well, it was Digne who went to ground. Now, Kevin De Bruyne has done exactly what you want him to do in that situation, in that he's ridden the challenge and got the shot away. But as you heard there from Chris Perry, I would say 99 out of 100 players goes to ground the moment Digne slides.
It's 100% a penalty. If he goes down, it's a really rash challenge from Digne.
I mean, he evades it, doesn't he? He evades it.
He jumps over it. He could easily there just wait for the contact and go down. I mean, fair play for him to stand on his feet and trying to score the goal, but it's a little bit naive. If I'm honest, I'm sure Guardiola might have expected him to go down.
I suppose if you're Kevin De Bruyne, you back yourself to score 1-1 with the goalkeeper, and the shot in the end was quite poor.
Difficult angle, though, wasn't it? Difficult angle for him to really score from.
City looking sharp at the start of this second half. Here they come again with Gundogan. Trying to drift from left to right. Runs into both Schneiderlin and Sigurdsson. And Sigurdsson found a ball down the right channel to Calvert-Lewin. Running up against Otamendi. Otamendi sells himself with a stupid tackle. And he pretends to be injured, as he always does, Nicolas Otamendi, when he's made an error. And he'll get a yellow card here, Otamendi, for the bad challenge. And now he's going to embarrass himself pretending to be injured. Why does he do it?
It's embarrassing defending, isn't it? Calvert-Lewin is not quick enough to run you. You don't have to dive in. Calvert-Lewin doesn't even do anything to beat him. He just literally knocks it one side, tries to go round him, and Otamendi buys it. He dives in, goes to ground. He might get a knee in the back, which could cause him some pain, but he's certainly trying to stop himself getting a yellow card. I mean, it's a rash decision, really poor challenge, and he's not good enough to play in this City team.
Rash challenge from Nicolas Otamendi. Turns out he is alright. Wonders never cease. He's okay. And he's now back in the heart of that defence.
These are the sort of chances that City can't give away. Chance to just put a free ball into your box. Yerry Mina, Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison, Schneiderlin, all will fancy themselves aerially. Michael Keane.
7 of 12 goals conceded have come from set pieces for City, and another one comes in here towards Richarlison, but header from the Brazilian is over the top. It was just behind him.
Just got ahead of the ball a little bit. He was onside. Fernandinho was playing him onside, but the ball was just a little bit too high for him. Maybe Michael Keane, just in behind him, could have given him a shout. He was in a good position to head it.
Better from Everton, showing they can hit City on the break. They can get at Otamendi, who's on a yellow card, and at Fernandinho, makeshift central defender. There is just a little chink in the armour right now for clubs against Manchester City, whereas previously they have been so imperious, and you feel pretty confident, irrespective of Stones coming back and Laporte returning. They're going to spend some money on a centre-half in January. I feel convinced of that. And so now is the time for teams, if they want to pick something up against City, before they do exactly what they did following their thrashing here in 2017, spend big money on improvements at the back. Bakary Sagna and Pablo Zabaleta were in the side that day at wing back. 3 at the back, as I recall.
2 very good Premier League players in their time, but not at that time.
Not at that point, exactly right. Pablo Zabaleta still somehow in the Premier League at West Ham, sitting on their bench now most weeks. Coleman down the line. to Richarlison on the right touchline. Done really well, Richarlison, to turn away from the challenge. Fired it in towards Calvert-Lewin. That's a really good snap challenge by Fernandinho. Helped on by Raheem Sterling, who may have injured himself in that challenge. Jesus chips it back towards Fernandinho. Allows the ball to run across his body with no one challenging him. Otamendi will pick it up. But just a bit of concern for Raheem Sterling after he won that ball and took a bit of a knock afterwards. He's back out on the left wing now, walking gingerly as Gundogan plays a lovely 1-2 here with Jesus, but the return was very tight there for Gundogan, and he knocks it a long way in front of himself. Goes through to Jordan Pickford.
He's looked quite bright, playing a little bit higher up the pitch than he normally does with Rodri in that sitting role.
It's nice football there by Iwobi and Fabian Delph up towards the halfway line. Delph helps it on. Dino had carried on running. Walker intercepted, but then he just stumbled slightly on the ball, allowed Everton to steal it back. Crossfield from Schneiderlin in the air towards Richarlison. Brushes across his stomach and tries to pick it up by the corner flag.
Foul. It's a silly foul from Zinchenko. Richarlison is literally on the touchline. He's almost walking a tightrope whether he's going to keep the ball in, and Zinchenko just barges into the back of him for no reason. It's a certain foul.
Absolutely begging to be fouled there, wasn't he, Richarlison? Zinchenko obliging in the side in front of Mendy today, who's on the bench. And there are still question marks about whether he is a good enough fullback, as he looks for a permanent position, really, Alexander Zinchenko. His free kick is about 10 yards away, I would say, from the corner flag on the right-hand side. Sigurdsson and Digne over it, as they have been over every set piece today for Everton. Digne's delivery towards the edge of the penalty area, and it's saved there from Ederson from Mina's header. It was the edge of the 6-yard box. The ball ended up dropping. Mina won the header. He's the tallest man out there. Zinchenko, for some reason, is marking him, and he heads it down, and it's palmed over by the goalkeeper.
He should score, Yerry Mina. This is why Manchester City can't afford to give away cheap free kicks around their penalty area. A free header 6 yards out for Yerry Mina. It's a wonderful reflex save from Ederson.
Another chance from the set piece. Digne's ball in, breaks towards Mina again, can't get the shot away, cleared away by City, and now they can break. Gabriel Jesus already over the halfway line, finds Raheem Sterling right hand side. Sterling up against Delph, cross towards De Bruyne, poor ball in, away by Digne. Only as far there was Riyad Mahrez, recovered by De Bruyne, robbed just as he looked across there by Richarlison. Coleman then pressed by De Bruyne, challenged by Gundogan, breaks to Richarlison of Everton, who look to break away themselves. Calvert-Lewin holds it up and looks back to Coleman. Coleman over the top towards the run of Richarlison, won by Fernandinho. Otamendi comes across, Richarlison goes down holding his face. Referee has seen nothing wrong there. Richarlison's gone to ground. Man City, well, they were going to try and counter, but of course it's a head injury, and so you kind of have to stop the game, whether he was hit, whether he's faking it. Unfortunately, you just don't know in this day and age.
I think Fernandinho's reaching for the ball, isn't he? And I think as he lands, his foot accidentally catches Richarlison as he's falling. It certainly made contact to his face, but it wasn't intentional.
Got to mention this from Benjamin, who says the Man City kit looks like a cross between the faces of Alex Ferguson and David Moyes. I quite like that. Very nice, Ben. Keep them coming in. Hello to Randa as well, Arsenal fan listening out in Pennsylvania, enjoying the action at TalkSport Live, the place to get in touch with Chris Perry and me as we watch Everton Man City. The score is 1-1 after 55 minutes of action. Here's De Bruyne on towards Jesus, helped on towards Sterling, who's in the area. Raheem Sterling forced out left, tries across, blocked by Coleman, ricochets back off Sterling and goes for a goal kick.
Yeah, Raheem Sterling there, I think, guilty of maybe not taking the chance first time on his right foot, allowed it to come across his body onto his left foot and then tried to go down the outside, and the chance was gone. Sergio Aguero is warming up below us.
Maybe not too long before we see the great striker on the field, as Yerry Mina knocks it back to Pickford, who clears long. Long ball there was flicked on towards Iwobi from Calvert-Lewin, went all the way through to Ederson in the Manchester City goal. Raheem Sterling trying to release Gabriel Jesus through the gap of fullback and central defender, and outright to Coleman. Coleman cuts inside, then outside Zinchenko. Has he just overrun it? I think he has. In fact, it stayed on, but his cross was poor as Coleman just tried to stretch forward, recovered by Rodrigo, and City can break. Already over the halfway line, they move it so quickly.
That's a yellow card.
That's a poor challenge from Morgan Schneiderlin on Kevin De Bruyne, and De Bruyne is not happy with it. Schneiderlin is patting away the wagging finger of Kevin De Bruyne. The Belgian is really not happy with the challenge there of Morgan Schneiderlin. I think suggesting he tried to not just foul him, but also injure him.
No, I think he was just beaten for pace, wasn't he, Schneiderlin? He had to make the challenge. I don't think he's tried to necessarily hurt De Bruyne. He's just tried to bring him down.
It's the kind of challenge that Manchester City often do to their opponents.
I think De Bruyne obviously has had a few injuries, hasn't he, over the last season or so, and I think he feels that's another one that might have injured him, and he's a little bit tender to that sort of challenge.
Studs on the leg. It is a yellow card for Morgan Schneiderlin. As Manchester City take the free kick short, and they work their way forward down the left-hand side. Very frustrated there, Kevin De Bruyne, not happy with the former Manchester United midfielder Morgan Schneiderlin, who's had a tough time at Goodison Park. I think that's fair to say. I don't think he probably would have been in the starting 11 if Gbamin had hit the ground running, the new signing during the summer. Of course, he's out injured, with Idrissa Gana sold to Paris Saint-Germain during the summer transfer window. Good challenge there by Yerry Mina. Ball forward towards Iwobi. He's broken back to Man City. Riyad Mahrez, that's a lovely ball. Raheem Sterling! Oh, he's missed it. Raheem Sterling one-on-one with the goalkeeper, 12 yards out. First time finish. Flag stays down, and he's missed it.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, that was almost certainly going to be a goal. What a pass it is. Falls kindly for Mahrez, and he picks the perfect pass. He splits open the Everton defence completely. 10 yards out, Raheem Sterling, just Jordan Pickford to beat, and he slots it wide of Jordan Pickford's left-hand post, and it's well wide too. It's not even close. It's a yard wide, 2 yards wide. It's a big miss for Sterling.
One of those chances where I think you're desperate for the offside flag to go up once you've missed it.
It's another poor challenge from Zinchenko on Richarlison. One that he didn't have to make again. It's another chance for Everton to fill this penalty area. City are playing a dangerous game. Zinchenko is poor again. Just swings his left leg and catches Richarlison. It's a really, really naive challenge to make.
60 minutes gone. Everton 1, Manchester City 1 on Premier League Live. Zinchenko with the foul there on Richarlison. It's by the corner flag on the right hand side. Again, it's going to be Digne and Schneiderlin over it. Again, we have a bit of a conversation. It looks like it will be Sigurdsson this time. Out swinging right footed cross by Sigurdsson. It's away from the glancing head of Otamendi.
Again, they had Zinchenko marking Yerry Mina. That is an absolute mismatch.
This could be on here, you know.
I think so.
And what a favourite it would be for Liverpool if Everton were to beat Manchester City. I wonder if some fans here might be hoping for a City winner. Probably not. You never know, though. It would put Liverpool well clear at the top. As Digne's long throw is cleared away well by Rodrigo. Forward by Fabian Delph of Everton. Cleared away once again by Manchester City. It's a hoof upfield. Man City. Pickford has to come out of his goal here because Coleman sold him short on a back pass. He did well, Jordan Pickford, to run out of goal and clear it long. Hearts in mouths there for Toffees fans. And they've recovered possession here with Schneiderlin, whose pass back to Coleman wasn't great, and that's left the team a bit rattled for a moment.
Coleman needs to he's trying to make out that he didn't hear a shout from Pickford. He just got it wrong, didn't he? Just underhit the back pass.
Don't blame your goalkeeper that time. Be thanking your goalkeeper for being alert. Manchester City on the ball in the centre circle with Otamendi. It's gone out right to Kyle Walker. Back to Otamendi again. Looks like there is going to be a change forward coming from Manchester City. I would imagine Sergio Aguero. Of course, we will confirm that for you as soon as we get that information. Down the left hand side, Raheem Sterling running at Coleman, looking to nutmeg Coleman. It's ricocheted off the Everton captain, the Irish international, for a Corner kick to Manchester City. They won't make the changes now, the champions, though they are certainly lining up Sergio Aguero. Corner taken short into Gundogan, helped back to Zinchenko on the left. I understand it's going to be Gabriel Jesus to make way for Aguero as this cross comes in towards the back post. It's away by Otamendi, recovered by Mahrez on the right for City, into Kyle Walker behind him, back out to Mahrez, who's played really well on the right hand side today. Up against Delph, left footed cross towards the back post. Shouldn't have said he played well, goes straight out of play. I think we will now get that Aguero for Gabriel Jesus change, and it might be harsh on Gabriel Jesus, the goal scorer.
Yeah, I think, you know, you want to get Aguero on the pitch. He scores so many important goals, doesn't he? Will it be Jesus? Probably you'd think it would be Jesus, but you could easily take Sterling off and play Jesus on the left. I mean, he hasn't had a great game, Raheem Sterling, not been effective today so far.
Certainly got the faith of his manager though, Raheem Sterling. His form in the last year would tell you why. Good challenge by Zinchenko to beat Richarlison to a loose ball on the halfway, and Kevin De Bruyne has found Sterling round the back of Coleman. Early cross towards the penalty spot, but Mina read it well. Wasn't a great delivery, to be fair. Coleman then dummies to clear and runs cross-field and looks to find Iwobi, who's had almost no impact in the game, you know, since coming on early for Theo Walcott. And that's the issue with Alex Iwobi. The talent is certainly there, but you've got to get involved.
But he needs to play 10. He needs to play in behind, in the middle of the pitch, and he needs to be the focus of their play. But Sigurdsson is that, so I don't understand why they needed him.
No. They were trying to buy Wilfried Zaha famously during the summer transfer window. Didn't happen.
I get Zaha. He's a wide player, out-and-out wide player. He's what they're crying out for.
Second prize was Alex Iwobi. And Alex Iwobi has very much been Alex Iwobi since joining Everton. Chipped up by the Toffees towards Calvert-Lewin, heads back towards Iwobi, but nowhere near the Nigerian. And now City can break with Gundogan into Gabriel Jesus in the area. Got to be offside. Flag does eventually go up against Gabriel Jesus, and that may well be the last of Gabriel Jesus' involvement in this game. Runs straight off. Aguero is on. Sergio Aguero has found the net in his last 7 Premier League appearances. Only 3 players have ever done it in 8 in a row. Van Nistelrooy, Sturridge and Vardy have that record. And I love it when Aguero comes on or plays, because I have almost an entire novel of statistics and records that he has broken. There are so many. Every game there's another record that he's breaking. Everton will hope he doesn't break one today. Well played. Richarlison picked up a driven ball from Pickford right on the sideline, just kept it in, but overrun there by Morgan Schneiderlin. And City have it again on the halfway. 65 minutes gone. It's 1-1 between Everton and Manchester City. Sterling's ball round the corner to Aguero. His eye is just not in today, Raheem Sterling.
This is where I think they also miss Leroy Sané. You know, how many times did he make an impact off the bench? He's a player you can bring on. His pace, his power, his guile. He wins your games, and they don't have that as well this season. Good question. They haven't really bought in. How do you find players to fit into this squad? Certainly to make it better, but they needed more numbers.
Maybe those numbers will come in January as Pickford's long ball towards Calvert-Lewin is flicked on towards Iwobi. Out of play though. Calvert-Lewin has certainly done well today with the challenges, and we've been sent a tweet, Chris, with a suite that looks exactly like City's kit, and that is a rhubarb and custard.
Yeah, rhubarb and custard.
Vintage. That's the Victorian colour. Suite. We've also had one from Isaac suggesting maybe it's a margarita grapefruit, which I can see it. I can kind of see it. Needs a little bit of orange juice in that though to really make it complete. Keep them coming into at TalkSport Live. Do let us know where in the world you're listening to us as well. Paul says he can see Everton winning this by 2-1, but maybe that's because he is a Liverpool fan. Liverpool fan supporting Everton. It's a weird old world right now. City crossfield, right to left. Sterling controls on the thigh. In towards the edge of the area. Gundogan held back to Raheem Sterling. Overruns it slightly, but that's a bad challenge by Fabian Delph. No free kick given there by Michael Oliver. I'm quite surprised by that. Maybe as City still have it, and they're just as dangerous with the ball rolling. Kyle Walker onto Riyad Mahrez to his right on the outside, being forced slightly away from goal. It's controlled by Walker, but he recovers it before Sigurdsson can steal. Chip crossfield towards Zinchenko. Back now to Gundogan. Better from Manchester City. Zinchenko in space. Found by Gundogan. Left-hand side. Cuts it back into Sterling. Back to Zinchenko, who's back on side. Cross comes in towards the back post. Over De Bruyne. Away as far as Raheem Sterling. Blocked by Michael Keane. 4 Everton players charging that ball down. Toffee's looked to break, but it's been lost by Calvert-Lewin, who must do better in those situations.
Yeah, that's probably the first time, though, isn't it, that Calvert-Lewin has lost the ball when it has come into him, to be fair. He's just starting to build a little bit of pressure.
It's now where it really matters, though, for Everton.
It's almost that belief. When Aguero comes on the pitch, they look like their belief just grows, their confidence just grows.
Missed several sitters against Watford last week, despite the fact they scored 8 goals against the Hornets. Could have had a double hat-trick on the day. Here's Zinchenko up over the halfway line, left-hand side. Another big diagonal ball by City. Finds Riyad Mahrez, who controls elegantly. Up against Digne. In towards De Bruyne. Back to Kyle Walker. His cross comes in. Again it's to Raheem Sterling. And again he's onside. And he's just hit him and gone straight to Pickford.
I'm not sure he was onside that one, but we'd have had to wait for VAR. Once again, it's that little setback into that right-hand pocket, just outside the box. And it's fired into the box by Kyle Walker, but Sterling was offside.
If he'd left it, it would have gone straight to Gundogan, who probably wasn't.
Yeah.
And you can see Gundogan making that exact point there as Otamendi's clearance here from Pickford's big hoof upfield hits Richarlison in the face. Could have gone anywhere. It goes back to Ederson in goal, who's throwing it up over the halfway line on the left channel to Zinchenko. 70 minutes gone, it's 1-1.
I think Marco Silva might need to think about a change. They're looking a little bit leggy now, Everton, a little bit tired.
De Bruyne running at Mina, and Mina's caught him. He's full-blooded in the tackle, Yerry Mina. And this time he has been given a foul against and given a yellow card by Michael Oliver as well.
I don't think every foul is a yellow card. It seems to be these days. He's tried to pull out of that challenge.
I think he has, and De Bruyne jumped over the tackle he was expecting. And, well, referee's given it. Not much we can do. They don't overturn free kicks and they don't overturn yellow cards. They don't even overturn it when the ball's gone out of play, which we saw in the Tottenham game earlier today. So that's a yellow card and no chance of reprieve for Yerry Mina.
Mahrez fancies this free kick, doesn't he?
Lovely position. It's right of centre. It's beyond the goalpost. Perfect for a top corner curler. And Riyad Mahrez has, I think, put in his best performance that I've seen him give for Manchester City today. So why not? 2 others over it. Gundogan and Kyle Walker on the long run up. Surely will be Riyad Mahrez. Is Riyad Mahrez? Oh yes! Brilliant free kick from Riyad Mahrez. Wrong-footed the goalkeeper, and it finds the bottom corner. It's a tough assignment at Goodison Park. You need your players to be at their absolute best, and Riyad Mahrez has been at that today. And now City lead by 2-1.
Well, usually you've been putting the commentator's curse on people for the last few years, haven't you, Tom? But you didn't this time. It's a brilliantly hit free kick. It's Jordan Pickford's side, though. Does he take a step? He takes 1 step to his left, back behind the wall. And Riyad Mahrez's free kick is so perfectly in the bottom right-hand corner that he can't get back across. But why is Pickford taking a step to his left-hand side? It doesn't make any sense at all. That's his side. He'll be disappointed with that, Pickford.
Scored now in his last 3 starts for Manchester City. Riyad Mahrez, second goal of the season, scored against Watford last week in the humping of the Hornets, and he's now given his side the lead at Goodison Park in a really tricky affair away at Everton. Marco Silva staring down the barrel of 3 straight defeats in the league. How will his team respond? Up towards Calvert-Lewin, flicks it back towards Sigurdsson, but it's really good defensive work by Rodrigo. Cleared upfield. Up towards Richarlison, away by Zinchenko, cleared by Michael Keane. It's going to go all the way through to Ederson. And in fairness, Chris, they've not looked like an attacking threat, have they, Everton, in this second half?
Not in the second half, no. They haven't been able to apply that pressure. The only time they look dangerous in the second half is when Manchester City have conceded sloppy free kicks around their own penalty area, and they've been able to deliver balls into the box. So I think that's still a chance for Everton in terms of if they can get those balls into wide areas to Richarlison and to Iwobi and attack the fullbacks, they can start winning some free kicks.
Looks like Everton are preparing a change here, and I'm just being told that it's Alex Iwobi who came on for Theo Walcott. He's going to be taken off.
Well, I can understand it. I can understand it because he's not been effective at all, but you don't often see the sub being subbed.
Brought on very early after Theo Walcott's injury. We'll confirm that for you when it happens, as Sergio Aguero looks to make it inconsequential. Brilliant skill by Aguero, running left to right at the penalty area, unleashing a shot, but it's over the top.
It was a meandering run from Aguero, receives the ball just inside the Everton half, turns and just runs past 3 or 4 defenders far too easily. Gets to about 25 yards out, unleashes a shot with his right foot that flies over Jordan Pickford's bar by about 2 or 3 feet, but you cannot allow him that space.
Alex Iwobi is off after a bit of a nothing 70 minutes on the field, replaced by Moise Kean, the teenage forward brought in from Juventus during the summer. Still hasn't scored for the Toffees. This now his 8th appearance for the club. Hasn't scored since Juventus' 2-1 defeat back in April against Spal. We'll be hoping to make a name for himself in Toffees blue in the final 15 minutes of the action here. It's 2-1 to Manchester City on Premier League Live.
I think it's like they've run out of energy, Everton. The 2 midfield players, Delph and Schneidlin, who were flying into tackles earlier on in the game, with Richarlison, who was getting up and down and tracking back. They've just lost that little bit of energy, and that's what City do to you. They keep the ball so well, they wear you down, and when they get into that last 20 minutes of a game, it's so difficult to be able to stay with them.
I don't think it's been mentioned enough as well that they did lose the dynamism of Idrissa Gana Gueye midfield, who went to Paris Saint-Germain, of course, and I think he's been such a superb performer for Everton in that midfield. And they did bring players in to replace him, but of course Gbamin injured, and even if he wasn't, he's not as good as Ghana. Fabian Delph, not
Andre
as good
Gomes
as Ghana
as well. Andre Gomes played last season, but again, injured.
Yeah, out with a rib problem at the moment. So they do have issues in that position, Everton. There are, if not excuses, there are reasons maybe they're lacking a bit of energy. They're coming forward now, though, with Sigurdsson, who finds Calvert-Lewin. Brilliant play! Oh, it's an absolutely fantastic save from Ederson. I think the offside flag may have gone up against Calvert-Lewin, but it's a reverse pass from Sigurdsson, played blind into Calvert-Lewin, who ran off the shoulder.
He's onside.
He is onside on the replay here, and Ederson's gone to ground.